Hello, what up world? It's Mikhail015 and I'm here to tell all you YouTubers about to deliver a certain message. The issue I wanted to discuss today is quite a heavy one. Not a lot of people want to discuss. I'm here to talk about the NoFap program. Yeah, I know it's a heavy one. A lot of people don't like facing it. Prefer to just keep subjects like that in the shadows, but gotta talk about it if we're gonna make things better. So, I'm just gonna start off talking about my experience and my story. Like a lot of us, grew up in a hypersexualized youth culture. I can remember being 9 or 10, just wanting to be an innocent kid, and having to hear other kids talk about sex, stuff that they didn't even understand yet, stuff that kids shouldn't even be thinking about. I remember hearing things like that always stuck in my mind. When I was just trying to be an innocent kid, thoughts like that would always stick out. Once I knew about it, once I knew what sex was, there was no going back. So fast forward a few years, I hit puberty at around 13 years old, like every boy does. Still in a hypersexualized youth culture. Can't just be a kid, and everybody's got to talk about it, bombard my innocence. Can't just let me be me. And well, as I kept growing up, I discovered the ability to masturbate. Yeah. And like any man who discovers that, it's the best feeling ever at first, but I always had an addictive personality. I just couldn't moderate myself, I guess. And well, within a year, I started feeling burned out by the time I was 14. So I'd try and curb my habits every now and then, get a little bit more energy, but then I'd burn off that energy, jerking it again. And it kept going like that until I was 19 years old. And at 19 years old, after a binge session one time, I just felt the ultimate burnout. Like right after I had gotten done, I just remember my head was pounding, my lower abdomen was hurting, my back was hurting, there was ringing in my ears. Felt like I didn't even have the energy to move. I thought, alright, well, I'll just stop masturbating for a few days. And then I'll get over this and have more energy again. Not this time. It was one too many times. I hit the ultimate burnout. Just stopping my habits wasn't enough to come back from it. I had a lot of shame. I didn't know. I felt like the ultimate piece of garbage. Felt filthy. Felt like a sorry excuse for a man. And so I suffered in silence for a few years. Well, around the time I was 22, started just trying to learn about conspiracies, government, medical, corporate conspiracies, what have you. And started looking into things like Coast to Coast AM, Alex Jones, all kinds of alternative media. And I started learning about how the medical establishment, well, it don't matter. I just started learning all kinds of things about the medical establishment. And I started having my mind open to the idea of taking herbs to heal my problems. So around 22, I started looking into websites that sold herbs for my specific issue. I tried pills and capsules at first. They were no good. I started slowly getting into yoga and qigong. I started taking an East Indian supplement called Shilajit. It did provide some benefits. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I was also hooked on Norcos too. That's how I deal a lot with my burned out feeling. Because when I took Norcos, it took my back pain away, head pain, muscle aches, things like that. And so just taking tonic herbs wasn't helping because I had toxins in my body. So I started taking East Indian detox supplement called Triphala with another East Indian supplement called Shilajit. Spent about 6 months detoxing. I was doing better. I was doing a little bit of Tai Chi, a little bit of stretching and yoga every day. But every 2 weeks or so, that urge would just build back up, and I'd go and deplete my life force, undoing all the progress I just did. So I realized I needed more tonic herbs that I had detoxed. I gained a little bit more control over myself, but I still wasn't healed yet. So over the course of about 2 years, I tried a number of different things, different Qigong techniques. I tried Kundalini awakening. I tried supplements I could find at the Whole Food store. Some results, but it just wasn't what I needed to get me out of this. So fast forward, I'm 25 now. Been 25 for a few months, and about a year ago, I started to see a Chinese medicine practitioner for Chinese herbs and for acupuncture. And I've talked to her about my specific issue, masturbating excessively and things like that. And to my surprise, she already knew about that health condition. See, excessive sexual activity is a recognized health condition in Chinese medicine, has been for at least 2,500 years. Western medicine still has yet to come to that conclusion. If you go tell a doctor that you feel like you're masturbating too much, they'll be like, oh, you're a young man, you should be, there'd be something wrong with you if you weren't, and so on. And so I've started getting acupuncture through her. I've started being honest about why I was so burned out and that I really wanted help. And I have been taking herbs now since June, July. It's November now. And I have been making progress, but again, I'll make that progress for a few weeks, and then the urge will hit. I'll end up masturbating again and undoing all my progress. So lately, in the last couple months, I've been looking at all the different choices I have at gaining control over my problem. Been following the Tao for a few months now, trying to learn more about it. Still don't know a lot, but Tao masters do teach a lot about men controlling their sexual urges. So I've been looking into that. I've been taking my herbs, started doing Qigong, and gaining more control. But then I would still, for lack of a better word, I would still blast off in my sleep. And that always shook my confidence. I always felt like I did something wrong, like I messed up in some way to make that happen. And so, in the last month or so, I've been really determined to overcome this. And I've started looking into sources like the subreddit NoFap. I've been looking into Tao techniques like semen retention. Sorry if this language is too vulgar for some of you. I don't mean to be graphic. I don't mean to be shocking. I'm talking about this because these techniques have saved my life, and I hope I could get the message out and save a couple of other young men out there. If I could just save one young man's life from this debilitating issue, then it'll be worth it. So, for men who are going through this, I have a few things that I'll suggest to you to help you defeat this issue. Currently, I'm on day 11. This isn't my first time. I've gone through this so many times in the last 2 years and relapsed. But now I'm just so ready to defeat this. And so here are some of my tips. I don't have all the answers, but here's a few suggestions that might give men out there an edge in defeating this problem. When you wake up in the morning, look on YouTube. There's videos. Look into the Iron Male Deer exercise. Number 2, look into the microcosmic orbit. It's another qigong meditation technique. Find some kind of supplementation to help fix your life force, help fix your brain activity, all the things that excessive masturbation has ruined. Look into some kind of supplementation. For me, the best choice for myself was going through a Chinese medicine practitioner and getting fresh herbs to boil. Just supplements never did it for me like fresh herbs do. So find some kind of supplementation. That will be really important to this. Number 4, exercise and be active throughout the day. Get away from your computer. Go breathe fresh air. Look at the sunlight. See the beauty that the world has to offer. Go stretch. Do some qigong or yoga. Lift weights. Jog. Whatever works for you. Get out there and get physical. That is one of the keys to overcoming this. Let's see. Look into the 8-section qigong. I'm probably not getting the name right. The name has something to do with 8 sections. Look that up. I'll provide some links. So 8-section. Just stretch. Just keep your body loose. Keep your muscles strong. Try to look at women in a pure way. That's another one. Instead of looking at a woman like all men have done at some point, instead of looking at a woman and just thinking about sex, try and appreciate her beauty on a much higher level. And just keep strong. All those things should help if you stick to them. And one more thing. When I would blast off in my sleep, like I said, I always felt guilt afterwards. I always felt like I did something wrong to bring that upon myself. And so my confidence would get shook and I would relapse. What I've read on the NoFap forums is that if you have a wet dream, I'm sorry for that vulgar language, but if you have that, don't count it as a relapse. It's something that's just gonna happen as your body reboots. We've done a lot of damage to our brains, a lot of damage to our bodies, and that's just our subconscious going through the images that we've seen, the thoughts that we've had, and it's just our subconscious way of dealing with it. And it's not easy, but just don't let it cause a relapse. Don't count a wet dream as a relapse, but at the same time, don't let it shake your confidence and cause you to masturbate. That's one of the biggest ones for me. And people have said on NoFap, don't count it as a relapse. Just keep going, keep reversing the flow of energy, and don't give up. Don't give up because of that. So yeah, blasting off in your sleep isn't a relapse. Work harder the next day to gain control over yourself. It's just something that's gonna happen. We've done a lot of damage to our minds and bodies, so it's gonna happen for a little while as we reboot our systems. Don't let it shake your confidence. Just keep at it. My heart goes out to anybody suffering from this, and I just want to do what I can to help strengthen men out there and to help us have full control of our own domain. Take care, YouTube world.